I found a picture of my mother in a 300-year-old book. I'm now convinced I'm going to be dead tomorrow. I should have known something was off the moment I found that picture of the alluring harpy in a centuries-old book. It looked exactly like my mother. Not just a passing resemblance, but the same face, the same eyes, the same haunting smile. I tried to dismiss it as a coincidence until I read the text describing how the harpy mates with men, devours them in a candle-lit ritual, and bears many offspring, all destined to enthrall and manipulate. I almost convinced myself it was all nonsense, but strange details started adding up. My mother never used candles, yet I spotted a flicker from her bedroom window one evening. She never seemed to age like other parents did. Sometimes when I was younger, I'd swear I saw odd bulges beneath her clothing, like wings pressing against fabric. Or maybe it was just my overactive imagination. After seeing that bizarre entry in the old library book, I tried asking my mother if she'd ever heard of harpies. I mentioned it casually, saying it might be interesting for a research paper. Immediately, her face paled and she forced a laugh. Then her eyes took on this unsettling gleam, as though she wanted me to drop the subject. A second later, she reached out and touched my shoulder, and I felt my tension melt away, like she had some power in her touch. The next day, I returned to the library to collect a photograph of that page from the old book. It was small, but I managed to read enough. The alluring harpy seduces men, reproduces, and eventually devours them. Her children appear human until they grow older. Then they develop the same powers of seduction and manipulation, continuing the cycle. My stomach tightened reading those lines. When I got home, the house was silent. My siblings were gone, and my mother's bedroom door was shut. A flickering glow shone through the thin curtains, a candle. I crept toward her room, hearing a low, crunching sound from behind the door. My heart raced as images from that harpy description flashed through my mind. I clutched the doorknob, but the moment I began to turn it, a sharp snap from inside froze me. Fear told me to leave it alone, so I backed away and fled to my room, ignoring the horrifying thoughts swirling in my head. I stayed up all night, half listening for anything else from her room. Eventually, exhaustion took me. Dawn came, and my mother wandered into my room with a bright smile. She spoke in a strangely eager tone. "Good morning, darling. I have fantastic news. You're going to be a big brother. I'm pregnant." A chill ran through me. For once, I couldn't hide my fear. The image of the harpy's candle-lit ritual, the mention of devouring men, the fact that my father had vanished years ago with no explanation, it all threatened to overwhelm me. My mother's calm, almost triumphant look terrified me more than anything. Her seemingly endless youth, the bulge I'd seen under her clothes, the unearthly candle glow in her room, all led to one conclusion I desperately didn't want to accept. Yet here she stood, beaming, telling me about a new baby as though everything were normal. Her eyes glinted with a knowing darkness, reminding me of the harpy's seductive gaze in that ancient illustration. My life will never be the same, I thought. I'm trapped in this house, under her power. The real question is, how long can I pretend I don't know the truth?